A very happy Tuesday, everyone, and welcome to your Tuesday night lighting critique. We've got a handful of still images to go through. We also have some work here by Sathya, one of the Anim School animations. We'll talk about that, and then we are going to hop on over to Sylvain's demo reel. And yeah, so let's get started without much further ado. So let's start with Chose here. Congratulations on your first environment lighting scene. This is very, very good, especially for a first try. I think that there's a lot of really nice things going on here. There's some areas of improvement as always, but I think out of the gate, this should be, in terms of like a first time doing this, really, really good stuff. So let's take a look at your reference. Now, a couple things to point out was just like how bright this is coming across here, like what the artist is doing to direct the viewer's eye. So again, brightness coming out of this doorway. We're using this silhouette of this character down here to get the character to read. Warmth and cool light combination. Really getting a lot of heavy atmospheric to create depth and layering as we step back in space. Again, we always talk about the black points, like look how dark the black points here, and then as we move back into space, they get lighter and lighter and lighter to the point where they're indistinguishable from the brights. It's just a murky gray mess back there, and things get less saturated too as we go back into space. Lots of detail in the foreground, and then that's reducing as we go back too. We've got some signs in here, but I don't think you have a goal of duplicating that. So that's the overall structure of this that we're looking for. You're getting this warm versus a cooler tone, but I really, really think that you can push the brightness of what's happening here. I mean, I think that you could probably take it. Let's go ahead and just do a quick mock-up here. And let's go ahead and just increase the exposure on this. And let's change the color around just to make it a little bit warmer. I think you can push into this region here and really get a lot of brightness coming out of there. And also you can brighten up along the door. There's some contrast. There's some like, just some contrast in there. And the way that we're seeing it here, there's not as much contrast in that doorway. So I think you could push that a little bit harder. Additionally, I think that overall your cooler tones can go more saturated. Like especially like looking back in here, it almost looks like the plants are looking kind of steely gray, and I would expect them to be, it's almost like they're metallic, and I really want to feel a little bit more of that warmth and that blue tone. Let's see if we can push it a little warmer back there. Just maybe somewhere along this region. And then there's a couple of interesting things going on. There's like a darkness happening here. I would just double check the texture map on this building to make sure that's something funky is going on there. And then in terms of like stuff like this, like with these windows there, they kind of feel like they're half on, half off. Same thing with this one back here, where this one actually just feels more like a reflection. And that's actually okay. But like for these, I would just leave these off. We're not looking for shaping that region. We're not looking for to direct the viewer's eye back there. Watch out for this dark shape coming across here. Is that me? Did I do that? Weird. Yeah, just watch out for this dark shape coming across there. I'm not quite sure what that is, but just something you don't want there. That's something funky going on. You can vignette more in here, like get a little bit darkening around in here, and then especially in this foreground wall here. You don't quite want to go this heavy on the depth of field. That's going to make the scene feel a little more miniature. You can up the stepping back in the aerial perspective, maybe a little bit more of the atmospheric fall off, that thickening of fog back there. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. I wouldn't. There's just not enough space. There's not enough space. There's not as much space as we have here. So maybe get it to like the level of something like right in there. I think would be okay. Yeah. Yeah, but overall, I think you're okay. I mean, we don't have a silhouette of a character back here, so I don't think we have to worry about that too much. Oh, the other thing I was going to say was just, like, you got really, really nice shaping on this barrel and then on this fruit down here. But this guy over here just feels like it's getting hit evenly from all sides. So just make sure you're trying to get some more shaping on him. Yeah, and I think that's a good start. I think that'll take us into the next iteration. But really, really great job on this again. Eric, great improvement over the last iteration. You went back, you said you reworked it, you found out what was going on. It was a normals problem on the shader. That's great. I think that you are starting to really kind of get a feel for this reference and massaging the shot into place there. The biggest thing that I would like for you to work on is now you have like warmth and cool. The values are feeling about roughly where the reference is, and that's great. The biggest thing is looking at how this warm light is affecting the character on this side and how the cool light is affecting the character on the screen right side. I would really kind of focus on that. So like hit more key light coming down this side, and the way that something is happening in here where it's like it's kind of flattening out. Do you see that? Where it's like you're losing the shape of the it might just be the tangents incorrectly being set between like object-based space or tangent-based space. So just look out for that, because what you want is just like a kiss of cool light on this side, and then the warm light's a little bit stronger on the screen right side. And it's not like hitting him broadly, it's more like just kind of hitting him down the edge a little bit. I would work on that. Shadows are looking better. This guy is still a little bit sharp. Let's see. Yeah, I guess you do see it a little bit there. Yeah, that might be okay for now. I might take that one back. But just watch out for, because we're kind of getting it like, it's really because we're kind of getting it on both sides, and we really just kind of want to feel it on the warm side. Other than that, yeah, this coolness will help separate him out from the background a little bit more. And then this might just be a low res thing, but like, it's interesting because I'm not quite sure. I guess this is the edge of a table here. It's just the scale is throwing me off, right? So we've got an edge here, what looks like a bicycle tire, which would be like 3 times, maybe bigger, like 5 to 10 times larger than him, but it's very small back there. And then it's like it's leaning up against this wall that's very dark, but it's getting hit by light. So I would just kind of clean that up, and also watch out for these like bright, the way that the spokes are being hit with a lot of light. It's going to draw the attention back there, and we don't, because if we squint again, that's kind of the brightest part of the image, and we don't really want that. So I would kind of tone those down and allow that to set back in more into the background space a little bit. Yeah, and then anything you can do to get more shaping on these rolled up scrolls. Same thing over here. Just keep pushing this, man. Like this is you're building the foundation now. Just keep pushing it, keep adding shaping, adding interest, getting the values in place, getting us to focus in on the character. All good stuff. Like now you're in the right place where you can really, like, you've got your foundation, and now we can really push forward. So good job with that. Scott, nice stuff here. Love the reference. Love the look that you're getting good shaping across. I just think you can push the brights brighter. I mean, you don't have the white cigarette like he does. That's kind of creating the brightest white. But if you're looking at his shirt, at his face, those areas are getting a little bit brighter than your bright point. And this is kind of like a photography thing. But when in photography, there's talk sometimes of the Ansel Adams zone system, and it's a 1 through 10 value system where you take your brightest point, and is that 1 or 10? I think, let's, for the sake of this, we'll call that 1, and then 10 is the darkest point, and then you want to find like levels of light to dark within there. So like 2's a little, if 1's bright, 2's a little darker, then a little darker, then a little darker. And this one does a really nice job of catching that full range of the bright whites to the dark blacks and really stepping it back in between. And yours, I think, has everywhere from like 3 to 10, but we're just missing Like if I look at this, we're just missing this top 40%. So if we just kind of push that into place a little bit more, maybe brought up the darks a little bit to create just like a little bit more contrast overall, I think that's going to get us into that 1 to 10 range. But in terms of a first project, in terms of testing things, great stuff. Like you're getting the fall off of the light against this back wall. You're hitting that here. Really, really smart. Yeah, just solid shaping. This reference image is using a nice job of using this as like a framing element. And again, you don't have that type of geometry in your scene, but just something I wanted to call out for future is just like, even though this is creating a line that we usually don't want in a frame, like you don't want it cutting through his head, but given that it's a upward angle at him, given that it's not the most hero-y of shots, that that type of thing can be utilized to like push the audience's mood a little bit more. So it's not like a perfect frame around him, so something might be up here. But yeah, great job. I don't think that other than just brightening it up and pushing that key light a little stronger, I think that you've got it where you need it. So yeah, great job. You just came screaming out of the grate there. So great job, Scott. Really well done. All right, Sathya. So you've got your. Let's take a look at. Let's hop over here. Oh, there we go. That's crazy. This might be a Facebook thing. I would recommend for you guys to upload to like Vimeo and then paste that link to the Facebook group. It just seems like Facebook's video stuff just gets like crazy crunchy sometimes. But I saw it earlier and I see where you're going. Let me just try refreshing this real quick. Maybe that might help. But okay, so let's see. No, it's still doing it. Okay, but I saw your reference. I saw, I see what you're working on. Obviously, I know this reference very well. This was a Audi commercial. I was the light lead on. I worked on this. This overtook about 3 or 4 months of my life. God, when was that? About a little over a year ago. And the biggest thing with this type of lighting is you want to highlight. Let's go back here. You want to highlight the kinetic energy of the shot, the movement. It's all about the movement, right? It's all about because car lighting, and I looked at a lot of reference of this. It's a unique situation in that they're not getting any light from the top. Right? There's no light coming down from the top. I mean, in this case, she is because she's got the little thing down. But the base lighting on a car, no light from the top. All the light is coming in from the sides and around them. So it's a strange setup where the, it's kind of like the key light, or we had the key light coming in from one side, and then this is just kind of like bounce light coming in from the opposite side, so hitting off a building that's close by and screaming back in. Because what happens during a bright daytime day is like you just have warm values passing the character along the front and sides of them and we pushed a little bit of rim in here too, just to get some more shaping off of them off the background, a little bit here as well. But so that's something I would really want to push on, is making sure that, and it looks like in the Zootopia reference, let's see if I have that one up, there's like they're pushing this light as being cool and this light is being all warm because they're in a far more open space, so we're not getting that bounce light off of buildings and windows and surrounding objects. So really focusing on that. Also, again, think pockets of light, like whoosh, 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 and they're passing stuff. So they're driving through the woods. There's big trees. There's canopies of light. So just really focus on making pockets of light in this scenario that bounce in through the sides and through the front and allow the characters to move through that. Because right now, the biggest thing I'm seeing is just like it's a little bit static, even in just those first few seconds. It's there's a little bit of poppiness a little bit of motion here on this bag, and I really like that. But like we're missing it on the characters here, and we're going to struggle a little bit because she's got the static light of this shining down and he's got the phone light. I would tone down their influence and really just like make it feel like it's moving. Also, we really want to get these reflections are going to matter. Um, we added reflections along the sides and the periphery, not necessarily directly on them. And then just watch out for, like, she's looking very, I guess it's the light coming down, but she's very saturated, but then her hand back here isn't being occluded by the visor, so you'd want that to be a little bit darker. He's just overall looking a little bit cool. I know that he's looking at a cooler screen, but that's going to manifest itself in the daytime more as just like reflections in his eyes and just a slight bit on his skin. But like his arm over here would definitely feel a little bit warmer, and especially his kind of chest down here. I like this glow around his hand, but yeah, just keep this warmer overall. And then for the back seat, like we struggled with the back seat, so it's like just keeping it back there and not the center of attention, but also just giving it a little bit of value is a really tricky challenge. So this is good. I think your value back here is good. You just might want to add some spec from the seats back there. Yeah, and then just like movement all in this dashboard. Like these shouldn't be static. They should all just be like, it's all just think about like passing. And then there's some really saturated points on this outside here. Also, I just noticed this, like the color up here versus the color that we're seeing through the window is very, like this is much more green blue. This is much more yellow up here. So just pay attention to that. Yeah, but I think your head's in the right space. We just got to make sure to get that. What I always called it was the whoosh 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 of light passing by is a really good one there. Okay, so let's hop over into Sylvain's demo reel. Again, good start right out of the gate. I mean, this is fine to have all of the links down here. Yeah, this is all good. You state very clearly what you want to do. Come out strong with your first piece. Here we go. Yeah, it's looking good. Let's look at the breakdown. Yeah, breakdown's good. I don't think you need... The one that I think might cause more confusion is here to here. You don't necessarily need this. Because then this just feels like you're cutting it out for... It feels like you're cutting out the characters out of the background, when really you could just jump from... You could just go from here to here and it's fine. You get it, right? Like you get that they added the characters in that first light. I think that's great. I think this shot looks great as the second one. There's one step of this breakdown I was looking through. Nice. Yes. It's that one. It's that, like, there's something about, like, when you just, like, there's just changing the color of this. And I don't think that step is enough. It actually just, like, I had to go back and rewind it because it almost looked like the for some reason, like, the logo shifted from a different location. I would keep this with this one and just make that like, okay, boom, now color. Like now we just added a base color layer and added some stars and then we pushed it in. So I would take out just that red as its own thing because I don't think it's different enough. This one's really cool and it's interesting to me because I didn't realize how much work you did on the sky, and it's very cool. And I don't know, and I meant to say this too. This is a tough one between these two cuts because when you go from this with this very bright light over here, and then you cut to this right here, because our eyes already kind of looking over here at this bright sun thing, this all of a sudden feels dimmer to me. So I'm wondering if for your demo reel, is just to push the brightness around these characters just a touch more. And then you can, just in that first shot, and then the last one, you can keep it the same. Just because in contrast to the previous shot, it makes them feel too dim. If that makes sense. Because I like the cut order, and I think it's working. I would just push that a little stronger. Yeah, you already called out that you got to rename this one. Totally happens. Also, I don't... I almost feel like... It almost feels like... And just try this. You can try this and see if you like it. because this cut to black feels harsh to me. It almost feels like you should have the shot for a second or a few seconds and then fade it to black and then go into your buildup. And then for this buildup, I think you could take out one step. Where to go? You got this, add the light, nose, that. This goes, it's this, because it kind of goes up, and then it goes darker, and then it goes brighter again. So it's like warm, bright, cool, dark, cool, bright. Like I think you could jump from, I think you'd take out this one that's like a little darker, and then just jump to that. I'd be done with that. Yeah, because it almost looks like you go the other way and then you come back, and you want your buildups to be always progressive, always more. I was just noticing this this is a dumb instance of it, but I was just editing a video together like a month or two ago of teaching my son to walk, and kids go through a funny thing when they learn how to walk, where they get close and then they get much worse because they get frustrated and they don't want to try anymore. And then they learn how to do it. But the way I cut the video together, it looked like he got better and better. And I always think that with breakdowns and demo reels, that even though it might not be reality of how you put it together, where it's like you might have made it brighter and warmer and then pulled off that brightness to get the cool right and then put the brightness back in, but you don't want it to look like you took a step back when you're doing your buildups here. This shot I don't think necessarily needs a buildup. I think it's cool, and I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I just think that it's just because like I don't think you necessarily need a breakdown of every shot. I think you could let this one play through. I think it's a shot that can stand on its own as being very interesting. And then you've got this one, and then again, just a nice breakdown here at the end. And you don't need to go pure black with the character before you start adding her in. You can just give her first light like that. Then boom, 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 boom. But I think your pacing is good. I think your shot selection is good. I think your order is good. It's just a matter of cleaning up some of those little things. So I think that you've got something really strong here. So great job, and good job to everyone else. I love the work that's being created. I love all the diversity of stuff that we're seeing. And yeah, we're just really excited about what you guys are up to. So keep going, keep posting, keep lighting. And we are here every day when you need us. All right. Talk to you all soon. Happy lighting, everybody.